Booktube. It's Monty, and today this isn't really a tag. This is just a video that Maëlys from Maëlys Reads did, where it's like a bookish drag race, and so there are different. I don't want to say like the prompts. They're prompts, right? And you take the prompt that fits, a drag race thing from RuPaul's Drag Race. I think I said that. We're going to be redundant. But you take it, you apply it to a character, and we have some fun here, right? I'm not going to explain RuPaul's Drag Race to you because I honestly just can't be bothered. But also, in a time when RuPaul's Drag Race has been on VH1 for like 2 seasons now, I even think All Stars was on VH1. So, like, you've had plenty of time to become acquainted. And if you're not acquainted, then I don't know why you clicked on the video to begin with. I'll leave their video linked in the video description because it's not really a tag. I just saw them do it and I was like, I need to do this. And so we're just stealing, okay? We're just blatantly stealing people's it's what we're doing. And coming up with my list of characters to fit the prompts, I did try my best to make all of them queer characters, or at least a character that the queers have adopted. So that's what we're doing. So the first prompt is a pretty generic one, and it's like, who do you think would be the first person eliminated? And if I was smart, I would have put this book at the top of the stack, but I wasn't. And for this one, I think, as much as I love them, I don't think that Ariel Stone from You Asked for Perfect by Laura Silverman would make it very far in the competition. I think that they would get too inside their own head. I think they would flop on that first challenge. They would forget the words to the lip sync. It would just not be a cute look for Ariel, and I would be very sad because I do love him. I do really recommend this book. I didn't really get around to doing a proper video review, but this is a queer love story with Ariel and Amir. It's interfaith. There's Jewish representation. There's Muslim representation. Haven't seen this get a whole lot of hype here on the BookTube, but I do recommend it, and the cover feels really nice. It's like a soft, I don't know, I appreciate it. Then the second prompt is your first Maxi Challenge winner. So the opposite, like who killed it that first week. And I think that Patrick, I think that was his name, from The Perks of Being a Wallflower, would absolutely just crush it that first week. I don't think that they would be able to win. I don't think that they would have like that longevity factor that they would need, but I think that for that first week they would be doing the thing. The next prompt is the returning contestant. So who do you think would come back who didn't do so well the first time they were on the show? They got eliminated kind of early. They were on the show perhaps before they were really ready, so they got that exposure. They have a little bit more money. They can come back. And for this one, I didn't really know who to choose. And so eventually I just went with Ezra from Two Can Keep a Secret, because in my mind, I need another book set with Ellery and Ezra, because Ezra got completely shafted in Two Can Keep a Secret. Karen and McManus went out of her way to shove him out of the narrative. She invented a whole found family situation to just completely push him out of the narrative. Every time Ellery was on the phone with their mother, who was in a rehabilitation center, she would hang up and not allow Ezra to talk to them. He got completely shafted in that book. So in my mind, returning contestant was really let's return to this world and give them what they need. And so I went with Ezra. Don't recommend Two Can Keep a Secret, but live your life. If you want to read it, you can read it. I'll leave a link in the cards to my review of that book. Next, the Untucked star. So Untucked is the companion show to RuPaul's Drag Race. We get the 30 minutes of the contestants backstage. And this is the character who I would call queer adjacent. So I went with Jay Gatsby from The Great Gatsby. Now, I despise The Great Gatsby with a burning passion of 1,000 Suns. I think that the 1920s New York Times review got it right. I think that it's just a trash book. I think we should trust the opinion of that reviewer, but Jay Gatsby knows how to throw a party. I can't take that from him. I think that he would be there to stir up drama, because that's what he did for his book. He was there trying to stir up drama with Daisy and Daisy's little husband, and so I think that he would be great in that situation. Next, your confessional narrator. Now, for this one, I didn't really have a specific... I almost went with... Let's move this out of the way. I almost went with my boy Pablo from Permanent Record, but I don't think Pablo is really queer. I don't think we can adopt him, but he is my trash child. Because I think he has some really insightful moments, but I was like, I don't think we can adopt him, and he's not explicitly queer. So I had to go with someone who I think is more easily adoptable. And I went with my boy Simon Lewis from the Shadowhunter Chronicles. She's just like the perfect mix of sarcastic and just like no filter, to where I think that I would appreciate seeing him. He would get all of the lovely shady sound effects, and I think that Simon would be there to tell us like it is, and his confessionals would just be on point. So I went with Simon, but honorable mention to my boy Pablo, because I love this book and I can't hold it up enough, I guess. Next is your Snatch Game winner. So this one I felt really clever. I felt so clever when I came up with this character. And I went with Oliver Tsien from Crazy Rich Asians, Astrid's cousin, who is the gay one. He's the gay cousin, and his family is like low-key broke apparently. And because he's been putting on this mask and like has been playing this game that we find out that he's been playing, I think we find that out in like Rich People Problems, so I guess it's kind of a spoiler, but whatever. I don't think anyone is checking for that on this platform. But I think that he's just, I don't know, he's already impersonating somebody, so I feel like given the opportunity to impersonate a celebrity, like I think he could do it. I think he could kill that. Next prompt is 5th place fan favorite. So who is the contestant that didn't quite make the top 4 that everyone kind of thought they would? And I went with Willem, not to be confused with the actual Drag Race contestant Willem, who was disqualified, but Willem, the character from A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Technically, I have a review of this book. I don't think I'll link it in the cards. I don't know if it's like private or unlisted, but I have a discussion. It's 30 minutes of me ranting about this book. And Willem in this book he's a character who's from Montana. His parents are like from Scandinavian descent. I know it's not a country. I'm aware. I was going to say from Scandinavia, but I needed to make it clear that I know that's not like a country on the map. And he's just like your typical blonde hottie who eventually, now this is spoilers for A Little Life. I'll put a thing up so we know when the spoilers are going away. He eventually, towards the end of the book, falls into a queer relationship with Jude, but he never identifies as gay or bisexual. But because he's like blonde and like stereotypically attractive, I feel like he could fill that Valentina situation where he just kind of coasts by on being pretty, and eventually like it's not enough to get you to the final 4. Like that's not, like there's no talent there. The next prompt is, who is your lip sync assassin? So who might be in the bottom and they just save themselves repeatedly. And for me, I also felt pretty clever when I came up with this one. I went with my boy Tanner Scott from Autobiography, because I feel much like Ariel, Tanner can get in his head a little bit. He can just overthink things a little bit, not to the degree that, he doesn't do it quite as well as Ariel, but good enough. And so that would wind him in the bottom, but he thrives in the pressure, and so he would like just be able to knock it out. He would just be like, boom, bitch, and then he would be in the competition for a little bit. I don't think he would ever win, but that's okay because he has Sebastian, and that's all Tanner really wants. Next is who would be your miscongeniality. And I had, like, there was no question. The moment I decided I was going with, like, queer characters that I'd read, there was no choice other than Mateo Torres Jr., who was the softest soft boy to ever be a soft boy, and he would just be there for everyone. And, you know, the fans would vote for him. If they had the queens vote for them, then, you know, he would win. Like, he would just win. Like, Mateo Torres Jr. is just that boy. And he is the only reason, really, that I connected with this book to the level that I did. And I will just... I understand, like, I feel like there's been a lot of unpopular opinions. The people hate this book. And I totally get it, because I've read a lot of time crunch fiction recently, and I don't fuck with any of it as much as I fucked with this one. So I think that this just hit me in the right space, at the right time, with the right audiobook narrator. So I'm not pressed when people don't like this book, but I will fight you if you say that Mateo Torres Jr. is not the softest soft boy to ever be a soft boy, because he is. He just is. The next prompt is, who would be your season winner? Who would have everything? Like, they have the nerve, the charisma, the uniqueness, they have the talent, they are that bitch. And again, I feel real clever. I went with Mike Flanagan from My Brother's Husband, Gengoro Tagame, by Gengoro Tagame. I think that's how you pronounce the name. I could be completely incorrect. But My Brother's Husband, volumes 1 and 2, is easily some of the best graphic work I have ever read, hands down. And it is queer. It deals with topics of homophobia and acceptance and Japanese culture. It's just really, I mean, obviously it's a manga, but Mike Flanagan is a Canadian who's married to, I forget the man he goes to see, I forget that character's name, but he was married to that character's brother, and they never really reconciled that their it's just that book series is great. I don't think I have a dedicated review on YouTube, but I do have written reviews, so I'll leave those in the description. But Mike Flanagan is, again, like, probably the only other person that could rival Mateo for being a soft boy, but Mike Flanagan is like 30, so he's like a lumberjack and a soft boy, and it just it was, and the relationship he develops with his niece, that just go read that manga. It's perfect. Hands down, the only person that deserves to win. Although I will say, before I settled on going with a bunch of, you know, all of these characters to my knowledge are cis men. Before I went with that, I had Red Heart from the Looking Glass Wars trilogy. Auntie Red, the antagonist of the first two books, she's definitely the antagonist. In the third book, they kind of bring in the Borderland King to, like, shake things up. But Red Heart, also a winner, baby. Also a winner for, like, if you are looking for an Alice in Wonderland retelling, The Looking Glass Wars is where it's at. I think you can read The Looking Glass Wars and the second book, Seeing Red, and just forget about Arch Enemy and just be happy in that existence. But it's just really great. I think the magic that they utilize there is just perfect. Just perfect. So do recommend that. And it's like a middle grade YA situation. It's like on that cusp, so I think it's really easy to read. And the next question is, who would be your robbed all-stars? So, like, your Shangela, your Manila, maybe. Some people would argue Raven from All-Stars Season 1, Katya All-Stars 2. Like, who would fit that? And for me, I went with Elliot Waugh from The Magicians, because the show fucked him over. The book fucked him over. He was robbed in literally both, like, in every incarnation he's existed in, he's been robbed. And I feel like this would just happen again. But also I can see Elliot just killing it and being in that top two. and then just not getting it, and people would be outraged. He would be the Katya. So the last prompt is who would actually be the winner of your All-Stars. And for this one, I knew I was going to put this character in one of these prompts. I just didn't know where I wanted to put them. And so I eventually settled on the All-Stars winner for Mr. Alexander Claremont Diaz, because I think in his first season he would be very much like Alaska, who would be like there to prove something and just get to the finish line but not quite make it across, and then come back for All-Stars and have it be theirs to lose, you know? And so I think that it would just be great. Also, I just really love the idea of Alex and Elliot existing in similar spaces, because I think that would just be a really, I don't know, they're roughly the same age, but they're from totally different literary worlds that just, I don't know, I want to see them interact. So that's what I went with. This isn't, like I said before, this is not a tag video, so I'm not going to tag anybody. I'll see you whenever I happen to see you, and until then, bye.